Alright folks, this is an update video on the TPI project. This is going to be the test mule motor. This is not the motor that you saw in the Fuelie videos. This is a motor I picked up from a buddy of mine, Marcus. Give a shout out to him. He gave me a good deal on this, and it is a roller 305, so it's got a little bit different cam profile than the other one we tested. Other than that, it's pretty much bone stock. You may notice that the power steering pulley there is bent out of shape, and that's because after I went and picked this up on my way home, I put my truck in the ditch about 70 miles an hour, and this flew out the back, went about 100 feet down the median before it came to a stop. So I'm surprised none of the runners got bent or the valve covers or anything like that. Didn't even break off the spark plugs, but we I bent the power steering bracket pretty good, and also the flex plate is kind of potato chipped. But other than that, she fared pretty good. So basically what this is going to be is the test motor. I'm going to run Megasquirt on this. We're going to use this to troubleshoot the wire harness, make sure everything works right. And then we're going to plop this into a car and get idle and cold start figured out. And then we're going to start tuning it, put it on the chassis dyno and see what it does naturally aspirated. Then, because it's only got 90,000 miles on it, figured why not stick a turbo on it. Now, I already have this turbo. It's a 50mm T3 T4 eBay hybrid piece of junk, but it's never been run and it should last long enough to serve my purposes. I'm gonna go with twins instead of getting a big single. I figured since I already have one of these little guys, I'll just buy another one for 140 bucks and run them. Now it's colder than a landlord's heart in my garage here, so I'm just gonna try and make this short before my hands quit working. But over here, I'm going to show you something you guys have probably been waiting to look at. Now, you say, what the hell is that? Well, it's an engine block covered in snow. We had a blizzard this weekend, and it pretty much filled my garage full of snow. Blew pretty hard. Well, this is the 305. This is a Fuelie. This is the one you guys saw in the video that made 190 wheel horse, 230 wheel torque. Reason it's all tore apart and looking pretty sorry for itself is because we had low compression and found out that we broke a ringland. So we tore it all down and got a new piston for it, and that's pretty much where the project's set for a long time until about 2 weeks ago. I went and picked this up from a buddy of mine, and we're going to get it rolling again. Now the plan is, once we get the TPI here going, we're going to pretty much beat on it like a rented mule until it either gives up or we quit making power. And then I'm going to put together the other 305. We did get a new piston for it, but as you can see, these rods are kind of puny. So some of you may not know, but a 305 actually uses a 350 crank and 350 rods. It's just the bore's a little smaller. 305 is a 3.736 bore by 3.48 stroke. So what I'd like to do is upgrade these rods, put a set of a good I-beam rod or maybe even an H-beam rod in the 305 down there. And also I have a set of 305 Corvette heads. Corvette doesn't mean shit. These are pretty awful heads. They don't flow anything. So basically what I'm going to do is, well, we're going to put some thought into it, but basically what we're going to do is hog these things out as big as the ports will go and put some screw and rocker studs and upgrade the spring package and put a big old cam in it and see what kind of power she makes. Now, Along with that, I picked up another little thing from a buddy of mine, another one, Chance, shout out to him, hooked me up with this right here. Now this is a Chevy 307 that he pulled out of a 68 Chevy C10 pickup that he's doing an LS1 4L60E swap. And originally I bought this motor for the transmission. It's got a rebuilt TH350, but I got to thinking about this, and this motor, a 307, is basically a 283 block. The bore on a 283 is 3.875, and to make it a 307 they just took a crank out of a 327 and put in it. So it's got a 3.875 by 3.25 inch stroke. Now what I want to test is the 305 with the 3.736 bore is going to shroud the valves up. That's why they've been hated so much by the performance world, is because the bores are so small that you can't get a good sized valve or a head to breathe. And I figure, well, with the 307's bigger bore, it'll unshroud the valve, it'll pull the cylinder walls away from the edges of the valves, allowing them to flow better, and it also give the piston about one more square inch of surface area to pull down on that intake charge. So I thought it'd be pretty fun to see what the difference would be in them. And once I get my Megasquirt, we can get this thing idling and see what she'll actually do.